President Cyril Ramaphosa has removed the Democratic Alliance's Dion George as the Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment. He will be replaced by DA spokesperson Willie Okamp. Ramaphosa also appointed Alexandra Abrahams as the Deputy Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition. The president fired Andrew Whitfield from the post after an unsanctioned trip to the United States.
In accordance with Section 91(3)(b) of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, President Ramaphosa has appointed Mr. Willem Abraham Stephanus Okamp, Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment. Consequently, the President has removed Dr. Dion George from the portfolio in accordance with Section 91(2) of the Constitution.
DA leader John Steenhuisen has denied that Dion George's removal is as a result of external pressure and interests. He says it's important for the DA to ensure that its position in the national executive are held by capable people with integrity and willing to work to an agreed agenda. Steenhuisen says he requested Ramaphosa to institute changes in order to strengthen the DA's contribution to the GNU. All right, for more now, we are joined by the DA's spokesperson, Karabo Khakhau. Ms. Khakhau, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this evening. So there has been these changes to the cabinet. There's been rumors with regards to the timing, of course, many attributing this to that biodiversity conference that is about to take place, and this being in relation to whether or not there is a support for wildlife hunting or not. What are your responses to that as the DA?
Good evening, Oscar Tlejo. Good evening to the people of the Republic of South Africa. Thank you so much for having me. The leader has made the communication very clear that our goal as the Democratic Alliance is to always refresh the people we appoint in positions of ministries to make sure that we maximize on outcomes that are aligned to our goals. Our goals being threefold. 1, poverty alleviation. 2, growing the economy. And 3, creating jobs to make sure that we have as many people in our country able to put food on the table for themselves and their families. And the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment plays an important role in making sure that the country's resources and its environment are maximized towards that goal. Particularly, you look at the fishing industry itself, you look at the ocean economy, for example, where the country's resources can actually benefit its people, making sure that the people's resources speak directly towards their ability to put food on the table for themselves and their families. And so we see appointments as the Democratic Alliance as a relay altogether, where in a game of relay, you take the first baton, you move on to the next, somebody else takes that baton and moves on to do so. And so we're very excited to be able to see that the work that both Uncle Willie, which I fondly refer to him as, because he was my spokesperson, you would have known for the years together since our tenure as spokespeople, to see the work that he would be able to do in that department to expand on work that the DA has been able to deliver there. But what's also exciting for us to talk about is Alexandra Abrahams. The Department of Trade and Industry can be perceived by others as very technical and boring and removed to become about markets and businesses. But with Alex's rich expertise and history working with social development, what we're able to offer the people of this country is a fresh lens through which we look at trade and industry, looking at how we use trade and industry to benefit those who really need trade and industry, being the poor people of this country, how we are able to, even in the filter of our mouths, be able to speak to the lived realities of the people of this country. So we're looking forward to giving a fresh perspective there on how do we get a social development perspective towards trade and industry and making sure that we maximize on our goal. Again, I want to emphasize the goals here are poverty alleviation, making sure that more and more people are able, which is our main focus as the DA. And so we look forward to the work that both that Willie Okamp as well as Alexandra are able to do. And we thank Dr. Dion George for the work that he has done so far for the DA and the Republic of South Africa.
You make an analogy of this relay where you're passing on the baton from one member to another. Does this insinuate that Dr. George was not running fast enough in this race?
I mean, the whole point of passing the baton is fasting quick enough for the next person to catch it and for themselves to run quick enough for the next person. It wasn't a 400-meter sprint where you move from one point to the next. And I'm using these examples because my mom during her times was Motowadi cross country. So I understand the concept very well. So that's not the problem at play here. And it's certainly not something that was even presented to the DA's federal executive when these considerations were made. It had nothing to do with the pace at which this person was running and whatnot. It is the responsibility of any leadership that is innovative, that wants to constantly seeks to bring more energy in any appointments, for them to look at what more can we do. Just because somebody is like good at whatever they're doing, it doesn't mean that there isn't anybody else out there who can expand on their work. Because again, political appointments, which is something that perhaps is a lesson for other political parties here and how they appoint people, to say just because a person is there doesn't mean there's an entitlement to an appointment. It means we have an opportunity to constantly search within our own ranks on how we expand on one work and look at the work that one does as stepping stones, building blocks towards the next goal.
So this is in no way an attempt to mask internal political pressures.
I mean, if there were, they certainly were not brought to the FedEx's attention. They were not brought to my attention. And if they are, then maybe they're there somewhere. I don't know where, but officially there's no such.